Hello students and welcome to the e-learning program initiated by Shri Gyan Mantri Vidyapeeth for the students of Standard 10 in which we are learning the subject of English. Students, this is the second lecture in writing skills and we were learning formal letter writing. Let us take a quick recap of what we learned in the previous lecture of formal letter writing. We learned that writing letters, it's an art which the modern technology cannot touch because we use paper, pen, we write with our own hand. So the thoughts that are going on in the mind, they are clearly inscribed on the paper, and a personal touch is found in writing letters. We also learned that letters create a connection that modern impersonal forms of communication like email, Twitter, the social sites that will never give us, it cannot approach in that way. Basically, letter writing, you have thoughts that you wish to communicate to another through the medium of letter. One of the important points that we learned is to write a letter in a manner such as to secure the respect and consideration of the person with whom you correspond, so that the other person's feeling is not hurt, his emotions are not captured unnecessarily, he doesn't feel hurt, he doesn't feel insulted. Words in a proper format and style, that's going to have more effect and it will have a lot of impact. If we look at letter writing from the perspective of scoring easy marks in the board exam, then letter writing is considered as one of the most important questions, as students can easily score full marks in this question with minimum preparation because we are already prepared. Only thing is, we have to first capture the complete question, the essence of the question, what is being asked. We have to organize our thoughts and then put it down in the letter. A grammar should be correct, sentence formation should be correct. Too much long, lengthy sentences should not be used. Points to keep in mind: use of colloquial words, that is regional words, abbreviations, that is short form, slang language which can hurt the sentiments of the person reading the letter should not be used. A formal letter has to be precise, that means quite accurate and to the point only. Lots of work has to be done when we are forming the subject line, that is the first line on which the examiner is going to have a look. It tells him what's going to be in the letter. Then we learned about the different types of formal letters. Few of them will be discussed over here in these lectures. First one is letters to editors of newspapers, magazines, which we discussed in detail. Then we'll be doing the complaint letter, then letters for placing orders, inquiry letter. All of that will be taken up one by one. We learned specifically about letters to editors of newspapers, magazines. Basically these letters are written by people and they are sent to the editors of usually the local dailies, for drawing public's attention towards some social or common issues. or some burning issues on which your thoughts, your inputs, your suggestion, your opinion, it counts a lot. Some of the burning issues also we talked about, for example, child labor, unemployment. They always persist in the society. And from time to time, lots of things can be changed because of the public opinion. For example, laws against child labor. When there is lots of protest in the newspapers, people write a lot about child labor, then automatically the government is forced to make some newer laws which stop the child labor and allow the child to go to school. So in this way, we should contribute towards building a better society. So there are some other prominent burning issues are day-to-day social or common issues like employment, crime against society, problems that are arising due to increasing population, drug addiction. And these are all common problems that persist in each and every society that should be discussed upon. Then we discussed about, say, the rash driving of the bus truck drivers, overspeeding by bikers, all of them, they pose a lot of threat to the society and they should be discussed so that laws can be made, punishments can be made stricter, more people will be aware of it and they will not try to do it because quite strict laws have been made. Then some of the issues like health and hygiene issues, especially in today's times of coronavirus, health and hygiene issues are very, very important. Some eye-opening health and hygiene issues can be discussed and the people may be made aware by raising that issue in the newspaper. When you write to the local newspapers, eve teasing, people crowd around tea stalls, pan masala shops and all that, and they eve tease the girls and ladies passing over there, making it difficult for the women of the society to come out of the house. Social morale goes down because of lots of problems like unemployment, poverty. All these persisting problems create a low social morale. So those things can be highlighted by taking up the issue, by writing a letter to the editor. So such questions can be asked. Students were studied up till here. Now let us go ahead with today's lecture. The next type of formal letter is complaint letter. Complaint letter where you have bought some products, you have purchased some things which have turned out to be defective, sometimes adulterated items are given to you by the shopkeeper. Defective pieces are given to you because we open the packet when we go home. So then we find that the piece is defective, broken from somewhere, or not functioning properly, or some of the functions are not working. It happens especially with electronic items. So it's regarding some products that you have purchased, for example, defective mobile handset. The battery becomes too hot to handle. Lots of heat is generated, so by the battery that the mobile shuts down automatically or it keeps on hanging. So there is some glitch that's working. Defective camera, either the lens is broken because we didn't look at it properly while buying it, or we were not able to notice such items. So then you got to complain. So you have to write an official formal complaint letter which remains as a proof that yes, I have communicated. Why are these letters written? Why is it necessary to write these letters? because it remains as a proof. For example, you bought a TV set, say online, offline, from the store, wherever you bought it. Now, you saw what is displayed in the shop. That is a display piece for a demonstration. So lots of people are handling it. You're not going to buy that. You're pretty sure about it, and you also communicate that I want a piece, an untouched piece, a brand new piece, which opens up from the packet or the parcel that arrives at your home. That it should be packed from the factory, and that is what you get, not the demonstration piece that is kept in the shop. But while handling, transport, something breaks down. Then you got to inform the dealer in return, because if the dealer does not replace it, then what happens? Then you move to the court. You go to customer courts, right? Because you are a customer, so a lot of customer safety nowadays. So you go to consumer court. Now the consumer court is going to ask you the proofs. You're going to produce the bill. Then the shopkeeper will say that this person has never told me. Then you can show the letter which you have written to him. That remains as a proof, right? So we need to learn these things. These are not just some dialogues that I am delivering or some lecture that I am taking. This is going to happen in our day-to-day life. We need to know about these things. So how to write good complaint letters that has an impact and an effect. Many times spurious items, fake items or adulterated food items, they are supplied to you. मान लो edible oil का डिब्बा हम लेके आते हैं 15 लीटर वाला, right? When you open up, it smells so badly. You want to return it, right? No, these things are quite costly, right? So you want to return it, but then no response is given, or the staff misbehaves with you, does not answer you properly, does not replace you with the items. So you need to have knowledge about these complaint letters. As we just discussed regarding misbehavior of staff or salesman, that person from the shop from which you bought it, electronic store, the staff misbehaves with you, doesn't answer you properly, behaves with you very rudely, speaks to you very rudely or harshly, pushes you. So these are all the complaints. For example, we go to the mall, we have bought things and we want to return them, either they are fake or they are not good or they don't fit you, clothes especially. Then we got to return it. And so what happens? Suppose if the staff misbehaves, you got to complain it in writing. Nobody is going to listen to you verbally. In writing, then you have proof. So from the management side, management receives lots of such written complaint letters from customers. The management becomes aware, हमारा business बंद हो जाएगा because my staff is not behaving properly with the customers. I need to change my staff, or I need to be strict with my staff so that none of my staff dares to misbehave with the customers. So it's not about that one letter that you write. Many such letters is going to have an impact. So these are very necessary day-to-day things. Regarding problem faced in society like shortage of water, frequent power breakdown, etc. This happens also on a day-to-day basis. You need to write to the GEB, that is Gujarat Electricity Board, or PGVCL, or shortage of water supply. You got to communicate to the water department, municipal corporation. If you don't write to them, how are they going to come to know? Right? So you got to write these letters. So complaint letter also has lots of importance, especially in formal letter. Another type of formal letter is an inquiry letter, asking about the details for taking admission in a course, because lots of advertisements you see in the newspaper, you watch it on the TV. Now, because of the restriction of the space, not much information is given about it, and you want to take admission because now you are going to complete your 10th, and then you are going to take admission in 11th and 12th. Plus, along with that, you need to do some computer course, some computer programming, or say hardware course, or some other vocational course that you want to start, so that you have some additional knowledge which can help you earn money, right? So all that information is not given in a very small space in that advertisement. Contact number is given, email address is given, or office address is given. You can write, but then you need to know how to make an inquiry, right? How to write a letter properly so that it is replied. The main purpose of writing a letter, such letters, whether it is a complaint letter, whether it is an inquiry letter, these two letters, they need a reply. Letter to editor doesn't need a reply. Of course, the editor, if he rejects your idea, he has to inform you. ये नहीं कि आपका letter डस्टबिन में डाल दिया. He needs to reply that we do not have space, or we do not have that much space in our newspaper to include, but we will certainly, whenever we find time, will include. He needs to reply. So these are, because these are formal letters, they need a reply. So asking about the details for taking course admission in some particular course which is perhaps not given in the advertisement, then you need to inquire, and you want to attend the course in such an institution which gives you the best for the money that you pay. Then you need to make an inquiry to, say, 4 or 5 institutions, and when you receive the letters, then you choose which is the best one, right? So in that way, it's very, very helpful in communicating with educational institutes. Inquiring about some welfare schemes launched by the government. Suppose you want to help your maid who is quite poor with some government scheme, especially made for poor people, designed for poor people. Now, she is not aware of that, but then you want to help her out by including her in that government scheme. Now, you don't have that knowledge. So, best answer is you write to the concerned office asking them about the information. They will certainly give the required documents to you. Yes? So in this way, inquiring about some welfare schemes launched by the government, you can certainly get a proper reply from government offices, because you have written a letter and they need to write over there whether you have replied, on which day, what was their letter number, everything, right? And if your letter is not answered, then also you can go to that particular office and tell them, I had written a letter on this particular date. I have yet not received an answer. Then that becomes a complaint letter, right? So, writing to a tourism company to inquire about the details of some tour package. Nowadays, tourism is quite at a question. Nobody is going to allow you to go outside your house, leave alone, trying to go to a tourist spot some 1,000 kilometers away. Nobody is going to allow that. But earlier, we had quite a liberty until this corona was not there. Now also, we can go when the circumstances are good enough. So, after completing your 10th, you have a little bit of space before you start your 11th. In those days, 10, 15, 20 days, you want to go on a trekking trip, or you want to see a particular region of India. So you write to a lot of tourism companies asking them for the package that they are offering, right? And money you are going to pay, you need the best facilities available to you, the best package. So in order to decide upon that, you need to write to a lot of tourism companies. They'll answer you, and from there they'll provide you with pamphlets giving you all the information. So you need to write an inquiry letter for that. Writing to an academic institution to inquire about the details of some course, particular course. That means a particular institution which is offering particular set of course. Then the timing for that, in which batch you will be allowed, what are the facilities given, for example, individual chair is given or benches are there, it's a small room, right? Doesn't have ventilation or is air conditioned. You want all those details, so you write. What is the structure, fee structure? For example, you are not able to pay the complete fee together, then is partial payment allowed or is term payment allowed? Is first term, second term, because many of these educational institutions, they offer a 1-year course, 2-year course, ranging from 15,000 to 25,000, 60,000. Some people are there who cannot afford that, so they need to inquire whether part payment is allowed or not, what are the facilities given by the institution, whether we have to buy books or will the material be given by the institutions, right? So you need to inquire a lot of things. So admit all those inquiries that are in your mind, include all those inquiries that are in your mind, put it in the paper and dispatch it to the education institute so that you get a proper reply from these institutions. So that is an inquiry letter. Now from here onwards, students need to note down whatever is available on the screen. Up till now you might have been noting down, right? But these are some of the most important points. Now we come to the format of a formal letter. You need to write down what is to be included and why it has to be written down. That is also being told on the screen, written for you on the screen. Now, whichever type of formal letter you are writing, format near about is going to remain the same. Okay, students, so format remains the same for most of the type of formal letters, whether it is writing to an editor, whether it's a complaint letter, whether it's an inquiry letter. For whatever purpose you are writing a formal letter, the format of the letter remains the same. Before I start with the format of the letter, I'll make one thing very clear. Everything starts from the left margin. We all understand what a margin is. You are writing in a book, in a notebook, in a long book, wherever, there will always be a left margin where you write question number 1. Then you have a very complete big section where you write the answer, right? So where you are writing, it will be usually marked with a red line, left margin. Then you have a top margin, right? Because in the answer sheet, that is the supplementary, answer supplementary that you are going to use, the same thing is going to be there. So everything starts from the left margin, right? Now, format of a formal letter. A very strict format is to be, very strictly it has to be followed. That is why we have written down over here, a strict format is to be followed. That means no excuse. We'll start with the sender's address. Sender means you are sending, so it's your address over there. Please do not write your name on the top. Start with the address directly. Please do not write your name. I am repeating again, do not write your name on the top of your own address. Yes. Now, where will the sender's address be? It will be starting from the left margin. It will be just below the line, the top margin. So, where the left margin and the top margin meet on the top of the page, leave the first line and then start writing your address without your name. It should be starting from the line that is the left margin. The first thing to be written is the sender's address. On the left side of the page, just next to the margin, write the sender's address and contact details. Now, sender's address, okay, you try to finish it within 2 or 3 lines. Yes, we have already discussed this during the informal letter, that name of the number of the plot or number of the flat, then the flat name, the next line is the area, and the next line is the city. You just finish off the sender's address within 3 lines without writing your name. Okay, contact details, when you are actually writing it to the editor, you need to write your contact details. Contact details, 2 things can be written, that is your mobile number and your email ID, but we are not going to include that in the address right now. Okay, we will just write our address complete by the name of the city. All these things will be imaginary unless the address is provided to you in the question. These things are very, very important. Half of you students don't even read the question properly, right? If the name and address is given in the question, then you will write the same name and address. But if the name and address is not given in the question, then you will always write an imaginary address, complete with city's name. City name also will be imaginary, right? Then leave one line after the address and then write the date. Directly the date is to be written DATE and then colon and then date. That is not required. So you simply write the date. I have written in bracket 23rd August, comma 2020 is the standard format that we use for date. No other type of dates will be allowed. 23/10/2020 will not be allowed. We will be particularly, whole of the class will be following the same format so that we never make a mistake. It will be written as 23rd August, the first 3 letters of the name of the month, except for September, which is written as SEPT, right? So, otherwise, December, November, all those long names of the month, they are always written as DEC, NOV, January as JAN, except for September, which has 4 letters, SEPT, S capital, right? So, in this way, this is the standard format that we are going to follow for all the formal letters. After date, again leave one line and write the receiver's address, to whom you are addressing. After date, write the address of the recipient, usually in the formal letter. It is either a name if you are knowing that that person is over there, or simply the designation, that means the officer, the police chief, the police commissioner, or the municipal commissioner, or the mayor. So you simply write the designation. After the designation, address of that recipient. I hope that all the students are noting down very quickly what is available on the screen. Ample amount of time is given so that you can note down. There is no hurry. Receiver's address, as we discussed, leave a line after date and start with the designation if the receiver has a designation. If it is a shop, then write the shop's name. Then below that, write the address. Again, try to finish off the address in 2 lines so that we have enough space to write the letter. Then we come to the 4th point, that is subject of the letter, which is very, very important. After the receiver's address, leave a line, then write subject, complete word, SUBJECT, then put a colon, that is 2 dots, and then in 4 to 5 words mention the subject, the topic on which the letter is based on, that is the meaning. Subject means the topic on which the letter is written, so that at one glance the receiver of the letter comes to know कि किस topic पे नीचे बात हो रही है, right? So it is very, very important the way you write the subject, the person gets interested in reading the rest of it. Next, very, very important is salutation. Now, there is a little bit confusion among students. We have tried to clear it last year also. That everywhere you do not have the need to write respected sir oblique madam. Wherever it's a government post, please maintain a habit of writing a respected sir oblique madam. Rest of the places, please write the salutation as opening salutation as dear sir oblique madam. Sir oblique madam, because we do not know exactly who the person is going to open the letter and to whom it is going to be forwarded. We do not know the person sitting on that seat, whether male or female. So it is better to address as dear sir oblique madam, whoever is reading it. Respected only for people at government post or people at quite a high ranking office. There is also a difference about it. If you are writing to the governor, then you have to write your excellency. You are writing to a judge, then you should be writing your honor. So each and every post, also the high posts, they carry quite a lot of importance, and that respect should be shown to the position or the rank. But mostly dear sir or madam will do. But if you think that this is quite a high ranking official to whom you are writing, then you can write respected sir or madam. Suppose you are ordering reference books from Ahmedabad, then there is no need to write respected sir oblique madam. Dear sir or madam will do, right? So that way, looking at to whom we are writing, we should use the opening salutation. Then we come to the most important part of the letter, that is the body, which fetches us the maximum marks. Here you have to explain the matter of your letter or whatever is asked in the question. Here you have to reply. Yes, rest of them, for example, your address, receiver's address, date, they are all accessories which you need along with the main thing. Here you have to explain the matter of your letter. Body of letter, very, very important, must be divided into 3 paragraphs. With a short one, but there should be clear 3 paragraphs. First paragraph, second paragraph, and third paragraph. Now, what is to be written in the first paragraph? Introduce yourself and the purpose of writing the letter in brief. In brief means short. It can hardly be 2 lines or 3 lines max, in which you have to introduce yourself and the problem. Then we come to the main part of the body, that is the second paragraph. Second paragraph, it should include the matter in detail. यहाँ पे ऐसा लिखा है, उसका मतलब है क्वेश्चन में जो एक्चुअली पूछा गया है उसका जवाब ये सेकंड पैराग्राफ में देना है इन डिटेल. सो सेकंड पैराग्राफ कैन बी लेंथी. Please remember, we have to write at least 100 to 120 words, right? So maximum, and that also the body part is counted. For counting words, body part is counted. Your address and his address, all that is not counted. Dear sir, thanking you sir, all that is not counted. It is that body part where the examiner is going to count that 100 or 120 word limit. So maximum question should be answered. The content of the question should be answered in the second paragraph. So, if it is a drainage problem, in the first paragraph, what you are going to write? I, the above named individual or the below named individual, I am a resident of this area. We have lots of problem of drainage system in our area. This is the introduction on what you are going to say. Then what is actually happening in your area regarding that drainage system, that you have to explain in the second paragraph. Net manholes are kept open, and there is a high risk of cyclists just dropping into that hole. Yes, they get injured, the motorcycle or the cycle gets damaged. Yes, and sometimes if they are not able to come out without any help, then they die also in that drainage hole, or the drainage hole of that system over there. The pipeline is overflowing, it's coming out of the manhole, and there's a dirty stench in the complete area. Right, people have to jump while walking on the road for clear areas because there's such a lot of dirty water on the road. So these are the things that you got to discuss in the second paragraph. Now what about the third paragraph? The third paragraph also has to be very, very short. Here you have to give a conclusion to your letter by either giving ideas or some suggestions or opinions how to solve this problem. From your side, you should be giving such solutions that are acceptable by the authority, and they can do something about it. So that you have to write in the third paragraph. Your opinions and suggestions, your ideas, that you have to write in the third paragraph. Then we come to the conclusion, that means end of the letter. This is the last part. Seventh is the last part. Complimentary closing, or what we say closing salutations. Write a word about thanking him for reading your letter, thanking him for doing something that is needful to do. So you're thanking him. So thanking you. Then comes the closing salutation. What is most preferred is yours sincerely. Don't try to be faithful to each and everyone, even to a stranger. You should not be faithful, right? So you should be sincere with whatever you are talking, whatever you have discussed in the letter. You are sincere about it and you are very concerned about it, right? So what is usually preferred is yours sincerely. But if you think somewhere, for example, you are writing to some government officials, etc., you have the liberty of writing yours faithfully, or you are in that particular service, then you can write yours faithfully. Otherwise, no. So yours sincerely. Then there is again lots of confusion. Sir, हम signature करें? आप लोग के signature तो जानते हो, आधा पेज कवर कर लेता है. You do some artistic drawing over there. It's not called a signature. I call it artistic drawing, right? What you do over there. So lots of students, they keep on inquiring, sir, हम signature करें या नाम लिखें, right? So let us remove that doubt that you have once and forever, that when a question is asked in board exams, you will be provided with a name or you will not be provided with a name. दो ही ऑप्शन होंगे, या तो नाम होगा या नहीं होगा. नाम है तो योर्स सिंसियरली के नीचे नाम लिखना पड़ेगा. ओनली नाम लिखना है, सिग्नेचर नहीं करना है, राइट? बट if you are the authority, please try to understand what I'm saying. If you are the authority, then you have to sign and उसके नीचे ब्रैकेट में आपका नाम भी लिखना पड़ेगा. अब ऊपर हमने एड्रेस विदाउट नेम लिखा है, then we need to write the name over there, whether it is imaginary, whether it is not given in the question, then also you have to write the name. Understand my point, students? We did not write our name when we supplied our address in the starting, very starting of the letter. We just wrote the address. We never write name over there. Name you have to write over there, Vijay Chakravarti. Then you have to write that name below, yours sincerely, Vijay Chakravarti. So that the 1 + 1 gets 2. Vijay Chakravarti is the writer and that is his address. Understand? So name has to be written. If you even don't do signature, that's okay, right? Then, but you do have to write your name in clear handwriting so that it doesn't look like a signature. So once and for all, this doubt is clear. You have to write a name over there. Yes? Now, this is the format of the letter. It should look like this. First of all, sender's address, उसके नीचे एक एरो है और रेड क्रॉस है. दैट मीन्स यू हैव टू लीव अ लाइन ओवर देयर. So sender's address, then leave a line, then write the date in the format that we discussed, then again leave a line, then write up the address, complete address of the receiver of the address, that is the addressee, then leave a line, then write the subject, put a colon, and when you write the subject, after that please underline it with a pencil, not with a pen. Okay, so subject, colon, write the subject and make an underline under the topic or the subject that you have written. Then you have a liberty to leave a line, or you can directly start with the opening address, dear sir oblique madam, then again leave a line, then first paragraph, leave a line, second paragraph, leave a line, third paragraph, leave a line. First, second and third paragraph makes the body of your letter. Then yours sincerely, usually it should be that. Some cases might be yours faithfully. No need to leave a line in between that. Just name or signature if you are an authority, right? This is the standard format. I hope students you are scribbling down very fastly, writing it down, so that when you are making the fair book, you can copy this format neatly in by making a box and writing these essential things which should be clearly. And if you see in this format, everything starts from the left margin. That means from the left hand side. You don't write one thing on the right, another thing on the left. Everything starts from the left margin, whether it is the date, whether it is dear sir madam, whether it is yours sincerely, or whether it's your name that you write at the end of the letter. Everything is starting from the left margin. Let us have a very small look at one of the example how it should be. Yes, how your address should be, how the date should be, receiver's address, subject, opening salutation, 3 paragraphs, closing salutation, everything. No need to write this down. Okay, just listen to it carefully and read from the screen. Write a letter in about 120 words to the editor of Gujarat Times, Ahmedabad, about the scarcity of water in your localities, suggesting ways to improve the position of water supply. You are Kunal oblique Karuna of Jamnagar. Now the Gujarat Times might be printed in Ahmedabad, but it is the city newspaper in Jamnagar. Okay, only the head office might be at Ahmedabad, so don't get confused. We are just sticking to the essentials. Now, what is the question? Word limit is written first, 120 words. To whom it is to be written? It is a formal letter to the editor of a newspaper daily. Name of the newspaper is Gujarat Times, city, Ahmedabad. Who are you? Name is given. If you are a boy, you can end your letter with the name Kunal. If you are a girl, you can end the name at letter with the name Karuna. So these things are already given to you. Now, what is the question? Question is, there is scarcity of water in your area that you have to discuss. Suggesting ways to improve the position of water supply, that is the third paragraph. So all the material that you have to write in the letter is already given to you in this question. So when we are reading the question, please at least 2-3 times read the question so that you are aware what is asked to you. Half of the time students don't even read the question properly, and you write horrible letters. Now this is the layout of what your letter should look like. I know you cannot understand a word of it because it's in quite too small fonts. Nothing is legible, it's not readable, I know. But this is what your layout completely at your letter at one glance, what it should look like. If you see the letter, it's a well, of course it's styled, but neat, clean, without any scribbling, without even any overwriting. Yes, written with different pens. Yes, please don't do that in the letter writing. Yes, अपना एड्रेस ब्लैक से लिखा, सामने वाले का एड्रेस रेड से लिखा, फिर डियर सर मैडम ग्रीन से लिखा, फिर जो है बॉडी पार्ट ब्लू से लिखा. यस, डोंट डू सच रबिश इन लेटर राइटिंग. Yes, we in exams also follow the blue pen, so everything goes in the blue pen. Only thing I asked you to underline in pencil is the subject. That also not SUBJECT colon. Whatever you write after the subject, that is your subject that you have to underline in pencil. So this is the complete layout that is in front of you. The same thing I'll be discussing again. Now, the same thing that we saw just now, it's in quite clearly where you can read it properly, quite big fonts. Your address without any name, 522, Shriji Colony, Shahipa, Ahmedabad. In 3 lines you just complete it. So that why are we decreasing the size of the address? Yes, आप लोगों का कहीं एड्रेस तो 7-8 लाइन लंबा होता है, right? So don't do that because you need space to write your letter. Then leave 1 line, write the date properly, 27th April 2020. Leave 1 line, the editor, National Herald, Delhi. Now what's the mistake over here? It will be clearly seen by the examiner that the name of the newspaper daily and its office was told to you. It is Gujarat Times, Ahmedabad. But what you have written is something else. So your marks will get cut over here. Right? So please be careful. Subject, 2 dots, that is colon, poor water supply. That will be your subject and it is underlined. Only that much part is to be underlined. You may leave a line after subject or you can directly start from the next line. Respected sir or madam, through the columns of your reputed newspaper, I wish to draw your attention towards the water supply in our colony. There is great scarcity of water in our colony. So you have introduced yourself that you are a resident of this colony. What is this letter about? It is about the water supply which is being less in this area, and because of that there is lots of water scarcity in our colony. So you just write down on what topic are you going to discuss. Only that much information is in the first paragraph. Now we come to the second paragraph. Now you see the length of the second paragraph. It's quite much bigger than the first paragraph because we are going to discuss the problem in detail. We are supplied, what is the problem? We are supplied water for only 3 to 4 hours in the whole day, and pressure at that time, pressure of the water is so low that tanki bharti nahi, it is very difficult to finish the daily chores in time. Moreover, sometimes the water supplied is quite dirty and unclean. Most of the time, at the same time when the water is supplied to us, at that same time there is a power cut, so we are not able to pump the water to the tank and the terrace of the house. So power cut is also there, the same as when water is supplied, which also affects us a lot. So this is the problem. Now we come to the third paragraph, where you are trying to give some solution. So I request the concerned authorities to improve the quality of water supplied in our area by, this is the solution, increasing the hours of supply so that residents of our area do not face the problem. Now, why have you mentioned the problem? Because everyone is aware that water is our basic need and we cannot do without it. So I hope some positive action will be taken by the authorities at the earliest. Now, before writing all this, we have been given a word limit of 120. So while you are writing, you should also see that you are not overshooting the word limit. If it is said 120, then these words are passed. So remove all the unessential things before writing it down. Mentally try to remove all the unnecessary things so that your paragraph is precise, accurate with the word limit, and you have written to the point. You have not discussed anything. What is to be cut from here? Everyone is aware that water is our basic. That is not needed. Everybody knows water is the basic need. So, itne words cut ho gaye. So, see that you do not write anything unnecessary. Yes, because here everyone is aware that water is our basic necessity and we cannot do without it. खाम में जो है 12-14 words जो है increase हो गया. So, that will be a minus point. Yes, you are making some 130 words or 140 words. You are overshooting the limit, right? So see that you maintain the limit of the words that is given to you by mentally striking off. Before you write, you should at least know, okay, 70-80 words okay. Now I just have 40 words more to write. Then he has read your letter, so thank him for taking out his time and reading your letter. So thanking you. And even if he publishes, then also thank you for publishing, for everything included. Yours truly, yours sincerely. And write the name in plain words. Just write the name. Here it's Karuna. We are given the word name Karuna, so we write the word name Karuna. So students, let's wrap up for the day. We close our lecture today for today's lecture, and hope you have understood all the essentials of a formal letter, especially letter written to the editor. We have seen it, so you get an idea how to write, what to write, in which paragraph what to write, how much to write. We'll continue with the same topic in the next lecture. Thank you, students.